Our version of the Virgin of Guadalupe has the central image of the Virgin, which is copied very much in the style of the original image of the Virgin of Guadalupe that's still in Mexico City. This one has 4 roundels telling the story of the apparition of the Virgin to Juan Diego. The painting was executed circa 1700. It's a Mexican school, so it was originally painted in Mexico, and then it was almost immediately exported to Spain. When it arrived at the museum, there were some aesthetic and structural issues with the painting. Some flaking paint, and the original canvas wasn't adequately stretched on the original strainer. It was falling off in some areas. There are several nails through the front of the painting in order to hold it on because the fabric didn't reach around the sides. And the aesthetic issues were the painting had a heavy accumulation of dirt and soot from over the centuries. It had been abraded because of some of the care it received over the years. The surface had been wiped down, and that pushed some of the dirt into the surface and caused some of the paint to wear away from the surface. Each conservation treatment begins with a very thorough examination. You go through and document all the structure of the different layers that comprise the painting, and we also document it photographically. In this case, I did some infrared reflectography research as well as X-radiography to look at potential underdrawing and look at the layers that way as well. The original painting is very thinly painted. It hasn't really undergone any previous conservation treatments. You need to understand the original materials as well as how they've aged and changed over time. We always start off with a stabilization. We stabilize the areas of flaking paint. And once those are stabilized, we're able to clean the surface to remove a majority of the surface dirt and soot and the discolored varnish. Since the original canvas didn't reach around the edges of the strainer and offer adequate support for the painting, we added additional strips of fabric with a thermoplastic adhesive to provide extra material so that we could stretch the canvas more adequately, more stably to the strainer. With all of that finished, we applied a stable, isolating varnish layer so that we could do visual compensation for areas of damage and loss. And that gives us an isolating layer to then add fill material where the original paint's missing, and then later on carefully in-paint those areas of loss. This was originally painted in oil. We wanted something that was different, not only for ethical reasons, but for practical reasons. Ethically, we don't want to add anything to the painting that will permanently alter it. And practicality, all of our conservation materials should be reversible over time, and that prolongs the longevity of the painting. The conservation treatment is quite rewarding. You see the painting transformed from a very dirty, damaged image to something that's stable and clean, so you can appreciate the artist's work. Essentially, this painting should not need any further conservation treatment for 50 to 100 years. In the stable museum environment, it's not being exposed to extreme fluctuations in humidity and temperature. So with the carefully filtered light and the closely monitored environment of the museum, this painting should be stable for a very long time.